Welcome back. Virtue Grace has popped up again on your screens. How are you guys doing? Okay, as you guys can see, I bet you guys are well as well. For a long time now, it seems like only good things bring me here to see you guys. Okay, so welcome back. I'm Virtue Grace, the African storyteller, and that's if you're coming by for the first time and you're seeing me for the first time. Hey, welcome. Have you subscribed? If not, then kindly click and subscribe. When you do, tap on the bell and select all. That way you will always be the first to know when I bring videos like this or do a live stream. I make content and share stories about Africa. When I'm not traveling, I sit on my couch here to share those stories with you, such as this one I've brought. And for those of you returning, thank you guys so much, my red loves. I love you guys so much. Okay, welcome. This is a good news coming out from Africa. Ghana and South Africa have reached a bilateral agreement to grant ease of movement, passage for their citizens. So now Ghanaians and South Africans can travel across board without requiring any visa and stay cumulatively for 90 days. When I saw this story, I was really excited and happy because I felt like this is actually overdue and a step in the right direction because for those of you who know, I've traveled across quite a few African countries, and given my experience, I know how just difficult it is to travel across Africa. I had a particular experience when I traveled to Uganda. So, as a Nigerian, I require a visa to get into Uganda. So, I got my visa, which was about $51 thereabout, as at last year, September. Um, I went to Uganda. I was in Uganda for about 3 weeks, and then since Rwanda and Uganda are neighbors, I was okay. That's fine. I should cross over to Rwanda as well and have a look. Even though not for a long time, just to have a look and then get back into Uganda and then fly back to Nigeria because my plane ticket was a return ticket from Uganda. So before I could get to Rwanda, uh, for me as a Nigerian and as a citizen of Commonwealth, I do not require a visa to get into Rwanda, but I require a visa to get into Uganda. And it's crazy because they're just neighbors, but again, geopolitics, right? So I when I exited Uganda into Rwanda, it meant that getting back into Uganda, I would require a visa again from Rwanda. Like getting back from Rwanda into Uganda, I would require a visa, and that process was quite cumbersome for me because now I had to apply for a visa again while I was in Rwanda, and I was in Rwanda for like about 3 days or so. So you can imagine just a few days out, but I had to apply for another visa and pay another $51 or so to get back into Uganda and then fly out of Uganda back into Nigeria. So it's a really cumbersome process. Yes, I know, I'm aware of the fact that to ease your movement, in East Africa, you can acquire an East African tourist visa, and then that would grant you access to the East African countries. You wouldn't need to get visas for each country and all of that. But for mine was a single entry visa into Uganda, and like I said, I wanted to also have a look. I wasn't intending to explore all of East Africa. Okay, so but that is just one example I wanted to give you guys. So initiatives like this really make it more easy for continental Africans or even Africans in diaspora who are African passport holders to travel more seamlessly across um, continental borders in Africa. Right, so this is good. A memo was actually released to this effect by the Ghanaian government, which is visa waiver agreement between Ghana and South Africa for ordinary passport holders. Yeah, so this is for ordinary passport holders, okay? And it was dated 13th October 2023 in Accra. This was issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration to inform the general public that the Republic of Ghana and the Republic of South Africa have entered into an agreement on visa waiver regime for holders of ordinary passport, and this agreement is going to take effect from the 1st of November. So we are in October now, so by next month the 1st, all citizens of Ghana and South Africa who intend to travel, to either countries would have to go visa free, and that's so cool because if we look at honestly, the cost of traveling across Africa is not funny. Okay, I have experience traveling on the continent. Like I said, I've been to a few countries. I've not traveled outside Africa, so I can't compare. But when I hear stories of people who have traveled on other, continents and who have also traveled across the African continent, then the comparison is usually that it's cheaper traveling outside on other continents within, say, for instance, it's cheaper traveling within Europe than traveling within Africa, even for us African citizens. And sometimes it even seems as though non-African citizens have it more easy when they visit the African continent and travel, across the African continent. It seems as though it's easier for them because every some countries charge visa fees of up to $200, up to 100 and something dollars, and it's I feel like it's just ridiculous because if we are talking about the AFTA, for instance, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, for instance, and the success of it, then we would definitely get to a point where we would require, to dismantle these colonial borders, okay? Because then that would ease movement of people and goods across the African, continent, and that would necessitate the success of the AFTA. But if we are just going to maybe pay lip service to the AFTA and not really work assiduously towards making sure it succeeds, then that is when the colonial borders are still going to stand. Because now, if I'm going to travel for trade and all of that within the African continent, and the process is cumbersome for me, then it's not an incentive enough for people to want to engage, to ensure that after succeeds and that trade is done, seamlessly on the continent. But if we look at the continent of Africa, it's a huge market. It's a huge market. Population is huge, and we do not trade amongst ourselves as much as we do with other continents. Okay, so it's like capital flight. The capital of the continent is leaving to other continents and leaving us impoverished. I know that countries would have reservations about dismantling colonial borders because of course they generate some revenues from visas and all of that. But honestly, if the AFTA is really going to succeed, and as well as other trade treaties or initiatives that we've taken on as African are going to succeed, then we would eventually have to come to the drawing board to have this conversation to dismantle these colonial borders. I know the reservations from countries would be based on the fact that there are meager resources even in the midst of abundance of resources on the continent, and it is also going to be based on the lean infrastructures on the continent. But then, like I said, if we are going to succeed at it, then we would eventually need to have this conversation, hold our leaders accountable, take actions to invest more in infrastructural development to make sure that this wealth is distributed equally, so that it makes life easier for all Africans to move more seamlessly, engage in trade, and ensure the development of our continent as Africans. So initiatives like these are good, and more of these should come up, so that it's easier. It's really exciting, because when you think about the cost of travel, visa, accommodation, air ticket, let's not even go there because that's another conversation entirely. It's really, really expensive, and then it just discourages a lot of people from traveling. And we know that the benefits of traveling cannot be overemphasized, even for continental or regional integration, fostering regional unity or continental unity. Because the more we travel, the more we get to learn about each other, the more we get to see opportunities to explore, invest, do business, and push our continent forward and all of that. So like I said, this is good. Congratulations to Ghanaians and South Africans. When I saw this, as usual, the banter is always there. People were saying, why not Nigeria? Why Ghana? I'm like, why not Ghana? let's not always banter about everything. If your government as Nigerians also want something like this for you, then they should take the initiative. Remember, diplomacy is about reciprocity. Okay, so if we want to have visa free entrance or visa fee waivers to countries, then our governments need to take the initiative to hold these bilateral talks to, come to these agreements for us to have those, visa waivers and more seamless travels across the African continent. But again, remember, we also have to be on our best behavior, because you've heard several times over and over people say, oh, Nigerians have bad behavior. It's not me. Oh, the people should not come for me. We all know that the conversation is always there in the media that Nigerians have bad behavior. When they go into your country, they do this, they do that, and do that. So if we are going to achieve feat like this, having visa waivers, visa free entry into countries, then we have to be on our best behaviors when we go to people's countries, and make sure that we are not breaking the laws or not engaging in reputation damaging activities, and all of that. That would make it easier for us and increase more chances for us of, having such bilateral agreements for free entries, seamless travels, visa waivers, and all of that. Other than that, it's a good initiative. Of course, Nigeria also has a lot of countries that we can visit visa free, especially in West Africa. So if you want to travel, you can start traveling across West Africa as a West African passport holder from Nigeria, Ghana, and all of that. It is absolutely free of visa charges and beautiful. You get to explore the West African, countries, and really enjoy the people, the culture, and everything. I've been to a few, and I can attest to that. Okay, so yeah, like I said, congratulations to Ghanaians and South Africans. Now that brings it to how many countries that Ghanaians can visit visa free. Drop a comment, Ghanaians, let me know, because I've seen some places, over 30 something countries. I was on the Ghana embassy website. I saw about 30 something free countries, and on the internet you see some places, some people say 40 something, 50 something, 60 something. So drop a comment if you're Ghanaian. How many countries can you now visit visa free or visa on arrival? Drop a comment, let me know. And the same applies to South Africans. Drop a comment, let me know if you're watching from any of these countries and you're a citizen of Ghana or South Africa. Drop a comment, let me know. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. What do you think about this good news? Drop a comment. I'd like to know. For me, I'm really excited, and like I said, we would like to have more bilateral agreements like this and eventually have the colonial borders dismantled so we can travel more seamlessly across Africa. I look forward to such a day that I can just get up, pick up my bag, and say, I'm going to South Africa and I don't need a visa. I'm going to Namibia and I don't need a visa. I'm going to Botswana and I don't need a visa. I'm going to Egypt and I don't need a visa. I'm going to Morocco and I don't need a visa. I'm going to Mauritania and I don't need a visa. Yeah, I actually do not need a visa to go to Mauritania because it's in Western Africa too, right? Western Africa, North Africa. Mauritania always confuses me. Like, is it in Northern Africa or Western Africa? I know it's up there. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you've not subscribed, kindly remember to click on that subscribe button. When you do, tap on the bell and select all. That way you will always be the first to know when I post a new video or I do a live stream. And for those of you who returned, thank you so much for coming back. You guys know I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, healthy, below abiding. I'm Virtue Grace, the African storyteller. See you. Bye. Mwah.